Don't forget, when we come, that you are online, you're live on TV. And please, when I say how's everyone doing, always turn to them so they can see themselves afterwards. Say, how's everyone doing?
How's everyone doing?
How's everyone doing?
Woo!
Make some noise.
Let's make
That's
some
what
noise.
I like to hear. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
And you see, you got to bring the vibes. You can't just expect the vibes and not bring the vibes. You know.
100%.
100%. So my name is Jordan Kensington, and I'm joined by
your favorite radio host, Miss Sammy.
Miss Sam in the place. And this panel is called "How to Land a Remote Job." Once again, how to land a remote job.
In
all right?
2025 to be most specific. So if you're looking for a job and you're not finding it in South Africa, guess what? We are going to be letting you know how to work internationally. And I know this is super exciting for every young person, even old, right, Jordan?
Yeah, it is super exciting. And we have some special guests in the place who know a thing or two about landing a remote job. So ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Joanne and
Nozugo.
Yes, give it up, guys. Give it up, give it up, give it up. Wowza.
Woo!
Wowza. I love the outfit. I love the outfit. It's
Looking
giving
stunning.
queen.
very much.
It's giving queen.
Thank you.
All right, so welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. I'm going to start with you, Joanne, right? Joanne, you will tell us a little bit about your journey so far, right? Your career journey so far. Do you want to go for it?
Well, hello everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm so happy and excited to be here. I have been in talent acquisition for over 15 years. I started my career as an executive search firm, and I have worked for companies such as Accenture, Amazon Web Services, and Microsoft. I have been in the global talent acquisition space, and I'm excited to tell you more on how to land a job in a global institution and how you can actually sell yourself and make sure your profile stands out to the market. So thank you.
Definitely. And I call you Busi.
Yeah.
Thank you. This is Busi. My other name is Nozugo Mutuyane. I'm a coach by profession, and I'm also in the talent management in the human capital space, focusing mainly on talent change management and also inclusion and diversity. And today I am hoping that you will be clear on the mindset you need in order for you to work in the gig economy. You will understand what is required for you to be able to market yourself properly, show up when you should, manage the times and everything else that has to do with remote work. Looking forward to chatting with you today.
I love that. I love that.
Absolutely amazing. And as we know, right, we had COVID-19, and that's when everything integrated into the media space and going remote. So what does that look like, you know, when we went from having our jobs and now we are going into getting remote jobs? So what has been that shift from the market of, you know, being physically there to remote? Nozugo?
Okay, so I'll give you a personal story. COVID hit when I was heavily pregnant, and I was working in a mining company, Anglo-American at the time, and I had to go into operations on a daily, and I was on my 9th month. So they had to decide on which employees should sit at home because of the risk. And it was then decided, no, actually everybody is at risk. So let's try and see how we will segment that this group of people goes first, etc. And having been working from home, being the first person to work on home in the company, showed me that this is doable. This is something that one can actually hold a number of pies, sitting in the comfort of your room, being warm, taking your medication if you're not well, and also being able to sit in a level-handed, grounded space and maintain work-life balance because you have your family around you. So it is a great, great, great way of looking at the future of work.
Definitely. Now let's go back to the word itself. I always like to go back to the root word, remote jobs, right? Because all these words were not used like 20 years ago, 25 years ago. So let's not pretend like, hey, you know, it's remote work. That wasn't used. So Joanne, what is remote working? And remote jobs, by the way, yeah.
Okay, thank you. So remote working is where you work from home, in the comfort of your home, or anywhere else in the world. You don't have to be office-based. You can have your laptop and have systems in place on your laptop and be able to communicate and do your work anywhere in the world. And I think what has happened through time is companies such as Microsoft, that's where, during COVID, they created Microsoft Teams, where one can communicate, everything is online. So it's important from a remote perspective that you are visible online, you have the right platforms, and you're registered on the right remote platforms. There are quite a lot nowadays. So I think businesses and companies realize that you do not actually have to be in office to do your job. You can actually communicate anywhere as long as you've got your laptop, your Wi-Fi connection, which should be quite strong, and you can work anywhere from in the world, from your home, in a garden, wherever it is that suits you.
Definitely. So now that we got that, obviously remote working connects to freelancers, and freelancers are self-employed. They are entrepreneurs in inside, because they are people that look for opportunities across the world. And in South Africa, for example, there's a huge unemployment rate. However, there are several remote opportunities globally. All right, and there are people sitting down at 3 a.m. in the morning teaching English to Chinese kids. Right, so there are so many opportunities. But the question is, how do you find those opportunities? How do you keep those opportunities? How do you make sure it's profitable? Because that's most important. There's no point sitting at 3 a.m. teaching English to China, and then in the end of the day, you're not making any reasonable money from
100%.
it. So how do you find those remote jobs, and how do you make sure it's making what we call in the business the wanga?
Okay, so I think the first thing is to align yourself with your purpose. What do you want to deliver to the world? What problems do you want to solve? Because that will help you with directions of where to go on the internet. Then you will look at what jobs talk to you. What will make you happy? What won't feel like work? I'm at work right now and it doesn't feel like work to me. It means I'm where I should be. When you found that, then you will go on the internet. There's many things. LinkedIn, for one, has remote jobs. There's hunters.com, and there's many other websites. Then you will register your profile on there. Some you will see, you register your profile, and your profile will be changing as you register for different things. Be smart in your entire outlook. You're looking at solving the world's problem. And sometimes you have to use a bit of marketing. Sometimes you have to use a bit of human resources. Sometimes you have to use a bit of coaching. Sometimes you have to use a bit of being structured, maintenance of certain systems. So it's different things at different times that solve the problem. But you must find you first. Your mindset must be aligned. Thank you.
I love that. And then round of applause, please. Come on, guys. Yeah.
Round of applause.
Joanne, you obviously you've worked with Amazon, Accenture, and much more. And it's not just finding just random opportunities. There are loads of companies, hiring remote. There's companies, like for example, in the UK, I've seen a lot of companies hire from Malaysia, India, Pakistan, etc. Because they are always in those territories. They're always keen on looking for remote opportunities in other territories. How does someone from South Africa then sit down and say, hey, you know what, I'm going to start creating remote opportunities, side hustles in other countries? How do they get about applying? And what do the employers or the people giving those opportunities expect?
Okay, thank you. So I think number one, have Wi-Fi connection. You cannot apply for a job when you don't have Wi-Fi. Have a laptop. And it's important because some companies want to hire you with your laptop. And it's important to understand that different companies and countries have different time zones. Yeah, so you need to be prepared. Yeah. Do you want to work for a company with a UK time zone or US time zone? US is very tricky because that means you start work at 1 p.m. and you can finish anytime between 12 and 3 a.m. And also, a lot of the companies are found on we've got flex jobs, we've got we work remotely, we've also got LinkedIn.
I think you should say that really calmly.
Yeah.
Again.
Okay. There's flex jobs.
Yeah.
We work remotely. There's also LinkedIn. And another thing is that when they're looking for you, you need to align with the job specification. So for instance, you're looking for an executive secretary role. Have you done executive secretary in the first place? Do you have any certification or qualification that makes you, to be considered for this role? And also, another thing in South Africa that can also be a blocker is load shedding. Do you have backup?
Do you have the load shedding app? You need the load shedding app, for real. You're lucky. In certain countries, you don't have a load shedding app.
Yeah, so you need to be able to have backup. Not all companies provide you with backup. UPSs, some do, some don't. So you need to be prepared that do you have backup, because load shedding has become one of those things that a lot of remote companies ask about. So that's important. And are you actually physical online? You don't want to be an individual that's always chasing. Be someone that also attracts those jobs. So place yourself online. As Nozi said, LinkedIn is very important. Your profile needs to be updated. And make sure you've got, number one, Wi-Fi connection, laptop, backup. And also, a lot of the times, when you're going through the interview process or when they ask you when you apply, you need to do a short video. Now, your video needs to have proper lighting. You need to look presentable. You need to get straight to the point of telling people who you are, your qualifications, your skills, what makes you think that you're the right candidate for the job, and just make sure that you sell yourself with on the video, because that is the first door opener. They always ask you to do a video. So if you can practice that, how to do a video and present your skills, that's also very important. So I think, those are...
No, I love it.
Yeah, absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
So Joanne, like you said, you need to put yourself in a place to be chosen, right? In a place of favor. So let's just say I've never done anything remote. I've never worked a day in my life. I'm just from high school or I'm in uni and I have absolutely no experience. So like you said, I need to have some skills. Nozi also said that you have to have something that you're giving, but I have nothing to offer. So, and I want a job, and I know in South Africa but I want a job. So remotely, how can I set myself up for success when I actually want a remote job but I have no experience?
I think it's important to have a CV that speaks around your qualification at least, and it must be clean and precise. And I think, as I said, a lot of remote jobs ask you to do a video. Be someone that is well-spoken. Sell yourself. Sell what you can do, your skills that you've done, what you've done. If it's any, sort of freelance roles in university. I know, obviously some people, you go to varsity, you've probably done some side gigs now and there. And just sell yourself. Learn how to speak well. Learn how to, because they also want you to speak well in that video. So sell yourself in terms of what can you do, what can you offer. Have a clean, precise CV in terms of your qualifications and what you're aligned for. Because you can find remote jobs that will tell you no experience needed. But it doesn't mean that you cannot sell yourself and speak well through that video screening. So it's important to actually have soft skills, etiquette in how to be professional and present yourself when you're actually having the interview. And then the rest, is up to the employer.
Definitely. I mean, like Joanne said, I think passion as well plays a big part. Someone can come with so much experience in a room and they're dull, they're weird, they say clap, they're like, you know, and you're like, they have the master's degree, doctor, they can talk all the bit, but you just feel like, I can't spend 20 minutes with this person, they will do my head in, right? And then someone else walks in the room and they're all positive, they're like, look, you know what, I don't have experience, but I've got passion, I've got hunger, I want to do this. Who are you going to want to work with? I want to work with the person that's got more passion, because that person's going to learn faster. But then, you know what, life is about, you know, people buy from people. People want to be around people they like, because you're going to be around these people, whether it's on the phones, on Zoom, you don't want to be around someone who's negative on Zoom. So you need to have that passion. And I think number two is learn the learnable skills that people are looking for. There's a website called Fiverr.com, and on that website you have things like people want you to write essays for them. There's people that are literally lazy. They want you to just do graphics for them. They want you to do so you can literally go to AI and get it done and actually do it for them. That's what a lot of people do. And people are making, I'm telling you, they're making millions of pounds on those websites. And they didn't have the skills before they went there. And that's global as well. Another thing you mentioned as well, now we're going to go on to that, Busi, is your health online presence needs to be top. So when people Google you, what do they find, right? What is your persona like on LinkedIn? So if you say to yourself, you want to be the best advertising marketing person, what do you post? Do you post the top 10 best adverts in South Africa? Do you post, if I was to do, there's a girl on Instagram, I've forgotten her name now, and she's become one of the best in marketing when she had no job. And what she did was basically took advertisers' concepts, photo shoots, and said, if I was to do this ad, this is what I would have done, right? And then posted it. If I was to do this for Pepsi, this is what I would have done. And then what happened was, of course, the brands noticed that, and they gave her so many of freelance opportunities, because what did she do? She thought outside the box. What do you think?
And yeah, Busi, right? We know that now, you know, there are all these different ads. Okay. Oh, I'm back. Okay, thank you. Anyway, so we know that there are all these skills, and people are telling you, if you're online and you're searching for a job and you're like, what can I do online? Some are saying, watch a video, you're gonna make 500 rands. I know y'all know them. I know you've been to YouTube and you've seen somebody tell you, if you watch this video, you're gonna make 500 rands. There's just so much going on in the media space, and just, you know, letting us know on how to make those remote jobs. And now we know there's teaching online, there's all these different skills that we can do and we can acquire, right? But how? Because we have teaching online and the free courses. Where can we go for those free courses? How can I make sure that my CV is amped up and, you know, ready to go? How do I make sure that I don't even fall for scammers who say, get this certificate, pay this much money?
They look so real.
Yeah, they do.
Sounds so real.
They do. They really do. I remember, I'm going to be very, very vulnerable
Just
right
be
now.
honest.
I've watched videos for money. I'm not gonna lie to you. They were like, if you watch this video, you're gonna earn 500 a day. Where's my 500? Where's my 500?
You're still asking 4 years after. Fair enough.
100%. So how do I know what's legit and what's not legit? And this goes for you as well, Joanne.
Okay, I think for every good and beautiful gift that there is in the world, there's always going to be a scam. So we need to be vigilant on scams in general. And also just be vigilant of links that we click and put our details, put our monies and put our banking details, and it goes on, and we cannot trace it. So LinkedIn is my number one place to go to for jobs, whether it's remote work or it's anything at all, because the links that are on there are at least legit. And if you go on jobs and segment to remote work and you sign up there, you will be getting remote jobs. And if you go deeper and write that you are looking for an executive coach role, you will definitely be getting. And if you go deeper into expanding it to globally, you will get different jobs from all walks of life. So you have a responsibility to, first of all, follow sites that are legit. There are remote job sites, as Joe mentioned earlier. And then also follow your LinkedIn, register on a couple of them. There's also Career Junction. As much as Career Junction is not now like LinkedIn, it still has remote work. I see a lot of remote work being advertised on Career Junction. So go for those credible sites and don't pay nothing to get a job. Nobody is going to sell you a job by making you pay money.
Yeah. True, that is very true. That's very true. Now, Joanne, what if I've read the whole opportunity and everything ticks the box? I could do it all. Everything makes sense to me. But it's just one little thing that they put on there, and they said you need to know how to ride a horse. Now, I've never ridden a horse before, right? But that's just a little, because this job has nothing to do with horses. So I'm saying to myself, what do I do? Do I just say, I know how to ride a horse and then learn how to ride a horse afterwards? What do I do?
I think honesty is always the best, right?
Yeah.
Because you want to sell yourself as a person with integrity. And also, I think when looking for remote jobs, also do your research. Technology is changing. There's a lot of technical roles and a lot of skills required under the technical aspect, such as your Java developers, web designers, and I've seen a lot of global entities looking for such. There's Udemy. Udemy has courses as cheap as 17 Rand. Do those courses, skill yourself. You also want to upskill yourself. You can't just go as you are most of the time because you're going to waste your time. So do your research, align to what the market is saying they're looking for. Skill yourself. Now there's AI, there's so many things that you can actually shift and ask AI to help you put together your CV in a marketable manner. Like, be out there, research, skill yourself, and have integrity. Don't go into a job and say you can do something and you'll learn it later. You're literally going to shoot yourself in the foot because it's not going to work. You will be caught out. And you want to have integrity and actually start and put a good name on your profile. So, yeah.
No, that's amazing. Guys, don't forget, you are joining the VooVix TV. We're live on VooVix TV and YouTube right now. And this is how to land a remote jobs in 2025. And you've got Busi and Joanne on the panel. I'm going to go for one or two questions because the next panel that we have is the future of business in South Africa with Nadia Nakai, Amira Ibrahim, and Costa Hambakis. But I'm gonna ask a few. I'm just going to put a line. Anyone has a few questions for our panelists? Anyone? Few questions for our panelists?
Takers, going once, right there.
You got one right there?
Over there as well.
Okay, good morning. I believe it's still morning. In terms of your CV, because we're talking about landing more jobs, right? So if you're applying for a particular job, obviously you have to tailor it to a specific job application. But then I've heard hearsay that usually employers put your CVs in softwares that scan your CVs and stuff like that. How true is that? And how can you make sure that you stand out in a situation like that where your CV goes through a software to be scanned and to be selected, to be shortlisted?
So how do you make sure you stand out when a robot is going through your CV before it gets to a human? That's the question, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
It's important that you've got key elements that align to the job specification on your CV. Put out your achievements, accomplishments, and the certifications. So it depends what you're applying for. So if the job specification requires you to have certain elements, it means that that wording also needs to be aligned on your CV so that it matches and they tick the boxes according to what the company is looking for.
Amazing. Busi?
Also, remember to put on your CV your behavioral competences and your competences in general, because sometimes that's what the engine picks up. It picks up on your technical competencies, and those have to be mentioned. Just as much as you would have mentioned your achievements, you need to say that you are a person of integrity. This is how you champion the organizational mandate, for an example, understanding of strategy. This is how you are when it comes to putting teams together and motivating teams. So that's how you are. You are a team player in this. So different roles have different behaviors that are expected, both technically and behaviorally. So find out what those are. Go to the future of work on Google, go and read up on future jobs and go and check what are the competencies that are required for such jobs and infuse them into your CV. But make sure that it's stuff that you have upskilled yourself on, it's stuff that you know how to do, it's stuff that you can even talk to should somebody ask you in an interview.
Amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Busi and Juwan. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up, give it up, give it up. Fantastic.
But before we go anywhere,
Yeah,
we
go on.
also had another question
Oh,
right
there's
over
another
there.
question
Yes.
there. All right, let's go, let's go.
Are you okay now? Okay, perfect. So
No, sure. You don't want to ask your question? You asked it yourself. Okay,
okay,
cool. So
perfect.
guys, give it up. Thank you so much
Thank
for the
you.
panel. Amazing, amazing panel. Look, next up we have the future of business in South Africa, sponsored by Stir Productions. And featuring on this panel we have Amir Ibrahim.
And Nadia Nakai.
And Nadia Nakai and Costa Hambakis, all featured on this panel. So stay where you are. In 5 minutes, we'll be good to go with that panel. Make sure you have your questions ready because everybody in that panel is literally cracking with business information. Yes, Costa is the CEO of Vita24. Vita24 is what you see on your tables right now. So Vita24, you're talking about Vita24. And Amir Ibrahim is one of the biggest production companies here. Stir Productions, doing a lot of things. And Nadia Nakai in the entertainment business, she's done incredibly well. So yeah, they'll be coming up in 5 minutes, so stay where you are. Enjoy some music for 5 minutes, and we will be back. We'll be back, right?
Yeah.